Hello, 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 and welcome to the library and the the 13th episode of Friday Night Ghost Stories. So let's get this show on the road, shall we? All right. How about that? Well, good evening, everyone. Lenny. Where's Lenny? There he is, Lenny. And my new buddy here, Victor, are here tonight to join the show as usual. And I am wearing my La Nova shirt that my buddy Thindu sent me from Buffalo. Best wings in Buffalo. So shout out to Thindu for sending me this swag, I guess you call it. I really appreciate it. And also tonight we have Baby Lenny, which Thindu sent me. Baby Lenny has joined as well. So anyway, that's where we got. That's where we are. We're off to a fun start tonight with little additions to the show. But let me get started by saying first hello to everybody. Hello, Paul. Hello, Kelly. Hi, Cranky. Good to see you. Bill C is in the house. Delilah is here. Excellent. Thindu, my brother, is here, of course. Tony the Night Owl is here. Latin Butterfly is here. Arlene Merlino, Gerard, saying happy birthday to William. And William must be here too. It's taking me a while to go through it. I can't believe all you people are here already, commenting, and it's awesome. Thank you. William, yes, William is here. Hello, William. Tommy Stiggs, Bobo in the house. Mike F, I saw, is driving and listening, which is awesome. Who else is here? Let me make sure I hit everybody. I saw James stopped in before. It's a little late for him across the pond. Delilah. Yeah, I think I said hello to Delilah already. And I think Baywatcher. Yes, Baywatcher. Anybody else here that I missed? I hope I did not. But if I find you, I'll come back. If I see you comment, and I was Spirit. Spirit is here. Hello, Spirit. Well, thank you guys. 22 in the chat already. That's awesome. Let's get started on this special Friday the 13th episode. I think you're going to enjoy it. I have some stories to tell you. And then I also have our paranormal videos, which I'm really looking forward to more than anything else these days. I find them very interesting. And I love getting your opinion as to what you think of them. So let's light our candles like we always do. And then we could shut that light off right there. All right. Is that bothering you, Lenny? See, Lenny has got his colonial hat on because one of our stories is back to the Revolutionary War, which I love ghost stories about the Revolutionary War. All right. There we go. So let's start off. Joe Town is here. Hello, Joe Town. Good to see you. All right. So let's start off with a little background about Friday the 13th. You know, a lot of times people find it very disturbing. In fact, there is an actual psychological condition on record for those that fear Friday the 13th. And I will try to pronounce this for you, but it's pretty hard to pronounce. It's called frigatriskaidophobia. Frigatriskaidophobia, fear of Friday the 13th. Now, where does this come from? And what exactly is wrong with Friday the 13th? Why is it an issue? Why would anyone fear it? Well, it goes back a long way. And it's predominantly in the English, American, and French cultures where Friday the 13th being bad luck came about. And it all goes all the way back to the year 1307, because on October 13th, 1307, King Philip of France and the Pope conspired to arrest and execute all of the Knights Templar. Now, I'm not going to go into that because it's a long story, but anyone who's familiar with the Knights Templar, they were the knights during the Crusades that really were instrumental in protecting people going on pilgrimages to the Holy Land. So, and they had a lot of money and treasure, and it's said that this was done to gain their treasure. So it was a very evil thing, and it happened on the 13th. And because of that, there was this stigma on Friday the 13th that developed all the way back from a European perspective, all the way back to 1307. But the modern day stuff about the third Friday the 13th really came about because of one guy by the name of William Fowler. And I'll show you a picture of this guy. He was around in the late 1800s, and he was obsessed with the number 13. Totally obsessed with it. All right, where is my buddy? Here he is, William Fowler. This is what he looked like. Now, this dude was really obsessed with the number 13. As he was growing up, he was in New York City. He attended PS Public School number 13. He fought in 13 battles during the Civil War. He built 13 buildings in his lifetime. He was a developer and an architect in New York City. He built 13 buildings. He belonged to 13 secret organizations. And he tried to coordinate everything around in his life around the number 13 because he thought for his perspective, it was a lucky number. So he did everything around the 13 because he thought it was beneficial to him, right? Well, in 1882, he rents a room, and of course it's rented room number 13, and he invites a bunch of people from Knickerbocker College. This is in Knickerbocker College, I'm sorry, which is, I don't know what that is now. Knickerbocker was a college in New York. And he created what was called the 13 Club. And there were 13 courses of food, and hanging over in this room was a huge sign that said "Moratori te sala salutamus. So moratori te salamatuas, which means for those for those about to die, we salute you. And because of that sign and what happened after that, supposedly everyone who attended that meeting had came to tragic ends. And because of that sign, it was said that it was a curse and that everything became around Friday the 13th became negative, became bad luck. So it's an interesting modern origin for the Friday the 13th modern. I mean, relatively modern compared to 1307. This happened in 1882. And that, that 13 club existed until 1897. So it was around a while, and it really contributed to a lot of the folklore, and it was like the origin of a lot of the folklore around Friday the 13th. Now we're all familiar with the Friday the 13th movies and all that stuff. And now those movies were inspired by an event that happened, I think, in Sweden. It's not a direct correlation, but those movies were inspired, and it happened on a Friday the 13th, and it dealt with a bunch of people that went camping, and they ended up getting murdered while they were camping. They were couples, and they were murdered by some unknown guy. He got away with it. That experience kind of inspired the Friday the 13th genre in the movies and the tale behind that. But anyway, just in general about Friday the 13th, here are some things that have happened on Friday the 13th, which are pretty creepy. It happened over the years. So in Friday, July 13th, 1951, oh no, that's wrong. That's not. I got the wrong date there. I got the wrong thing there. Anyway, oh no, yeah, Friday the 13th, 1951, a major flood hit Kansas, and it flooded out Topeka, three cities: Manhattan, Kansas; Topeka, Kansas; and Laverne, Kansas. And it was a devastating flood, and it all happened, and it was completely unpredicted by weather. So it was considered a bad luck event that happened, and people actually died in these floods. So that was 1951. In 1952, on June 13th, Friday, 1952, a Swedish military plane disappeared completely in the Baltic Sea, just vanished, much like you've heard stories, I'm sure, growing up about the Bermuda Triangle. The Baltic Sea, there was never anything like this, but on this particular day, the military plane just vanished, and they never found the plane, they never found the bodies, nothing. In 1970, there was a huge storm in Chittagong. I'm sorry, Friday, November 13th, 1970. A huge storm hit Chittagong, Bangladesh, and killed 300,000 people. Just a massive, massive death toll on that particular day. In October 13th, 1972, there was that famous crash in the Andes by the rugby team, and they had to eat the bodies of to survive. They eat the bodies of their companions that died in the crash to survive because they were stranded for many days there. So a gruesome story there, and that happened on Friday the 13th, 1972, October 13th, 1972. On August 13th, 2010, there was this is really bizarre. In August 13th, 2010, Friday, August 13th, 2010, a 13-year-old boy in Suffolk, England, was struck by lightning and survived, believe it or not. But he was struck at exactly 1313 time. So the military time. So it was like 113. But if you looked at it from a military perspective, it was 1313 is when he was struck by lightning. October 13, 2006, there were in Buffalo, our friends in Buffalo, October 13th, 2006, there was a massive snowstorm. It dropped 24 inches of snow on Buffalo, and 500,000 people lost power from that. Now, I'm sure Thendo probably remembers that because he was there. 2006, Friday, October 13th, 2006. And then what else do I have here? And then in January 13th, Friday, January 13th, 2012, the Costa Concordia is an Italian cruise ship. It sunk off the coast of Italy, and 32 people died in there. So a lot of bad things happened on Friday the 13th, which seemed to perpetuate this fear of that particular day, that it's bad luck, bad things are bound to happen. You might as well stay home and hide for the day. Don't go out, don't chance it. So that's just a list of some creepy things I found that happened on Friday the 13th. So interesting stuff. All right, so let's go to our first ghost story. Now, our first ghost story takes place in Maine, and this is going back to the Revolutionary War, and it takes place around a place called Goose River. Goose River in Maine is an outlet to the ocean. There's a huge port there, and the Goose River feeds into the ocean, and then in the North Atlantic. I guess it's the northern part of the Atlantic. Usually, when you say the North Atlantic, you're talking about England and that area, but the northern part of our Atlantic. And so the British found this area very important during the Revolutionary War. They would come and they would dock ships there, and they would come in and raid the towns and loot and do bad things to the colonists that were not loyal. So there was a very anti-British feeling in the area for this reason. So one time, it was in the midst of the war, there was an American privateer. Now, American privateers were sailors that went out and tried to capture, much like pirates, they tried to capture British ships during the war. And Samuel Tucker was a famous American pirate or privateer, whatever you want to call him. And he was able to capture a British ship filled with tea. Now, he was able to capture the ship, and he took control of it, and he was taking it back to the shore to plunder it. He was in meanwhile, the British military frigate was in high pursuit of him, trying to catch him. And it looked like he was going to be captured by this British warship. However, there was an individual by the name of William Richardson, who was a local fisherman in the area and an adamant patriot. And he saw what was going on, and he was able to get to Tucker's ship, flag him down, and show him an outlet where he could hide his ship, because William Richardson fished the area, fished the waters. He knew it inside and out. He knew the coastline inside and out. He knew all the jagged areas where you could hide, and he was able to hide the captured British ship from the British battleship. And just as that happened, just as he was able to hide him, a storm rolled in, and a lot of fog came in and covered everything. So when the British actually came by, they couldn't find Samuel Tucker, they couldn't find the stolen ship, and they couldn't find William Richardson, and they sailed on. So William Richardson, who was the local guy from this particular part of Maine near Goose River, port, I think it's something port, I forgot what they call the town there. But anyway, he became a local hero. He helped out. He helped save the Samuel Tucker and helped them escape the British, etc., etc. Hello, Gerard. How are you? Just saw you. Zelda, good to see you. Dave T from Boston, good to see you. All right, so so he becomes this local hero and is very, very much known in the town, becomes very friendly. He's kind of like the unofficial mayor of the town, and et cetera, et cetera. So when the war ends, the town is so ecstatic that they finally beat the British and they have their independence, that they decide to throw a giant town-wide party. And there's plenty of beer and ale there. And William Richardson, who, in addition to being a sailor or a fisherman, was also a big brew guy. He helped out the local brewery there. So he volunteers, and as being famous for being this hero, he is asked to be the chairman of the festivities, and he rolls out the barrels of beer and ale, and he's dishing it out, and everyone is singing and having fun and getting loaded, and et cetera, et cetera. And the festivities went on throughout the night. And at one point, William Richardson begins to wander off, takes a pitcher full of beer with him, and wanders over, and he makes his way over to the Goose River Bridge. Makes his way crossing over the Goose River Bridge, just looking for people he hasn't met yet or hasn't partied with yet, to just toast with them, give them some of his beer, and have a toast to the American Revolution and independence. Well, as he's crossing the bridge, he sees three men coming the opposite way. Now, at this point, William sees, three men that I can drink with. I can give them a beer. They weren't in the town. They're coming across the bridge. They're coming back towards the town. So they must not have been part of the festivities. Let me get them. Let me run up to them. Let me get them a beer, and we'll continue to celebrate. So he encounters these three men about the middle of Goose River Bridge. And he goes up to them and he says, here's to liberty and down with King George. Well, unfortunately, these three men happened to be Tories. And as you know, Tories were in favor of the British, and they were not too happy about the Americans winning and the British surrendering. So as a result, one of these individuals who was carrying a rifle takes the butt of his rifle and hits William Richardson smack in the temple, which sends him tumbling backwards over the bridge and into the water. He hits his head on a rock and meets his end right then and there. So that's the origin story of the ghost of Goose River, because it's said that his ghost, William Richardson, is the ghost that inhabits this area in question. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'll show you the area I'm talking about here. It's in Maine. If I can just get this to work. There we go. Let me remove that. Remove that. There we go. All right. Let's see. Here we go. This is what Goose River Bridge looks like. There's the one side that is the town, and the other side is country, or undeveloped type of land, et cetera, et cetera. And it's in the middle of this bridge here is where William Richardson met his end. That's one angle of the bridge. I want to show you another angle, because the other angle, I think, will show you how it was in terms of here it is. This is good, because this will show you how important this river and bridge and area was, because you could see the outlet to the ocean right here, the inlet right there, right out there in the middle is the ocean, is the Atlantic Ocean. So it was how the British would come in. They would come in through this river from the ocean. All right. So what's the story about? That's the story, the backstory about Richard Williamson. But what happens with Richard? What are the stories about encountering William Richardson? Well, he is the most friendly ghost I have ever heard, because this particular ghost is going out of his way to try to get you, whoever he encounters, to have a drink of beer with him. In fact, he carries a pitcher with him. Pitcher that is full of beer, a spiritual beer, I guess. But anyway, that's how he got the name of the Pitcher Man. And the ghost of this bridge is called the Pitcher Man of Goose River Bridge. And it said that he will encounter people. He'll come up to them, and they will see him holding in his hand a pitcher of beer. And just when he's about to interact with them, he'll vanish and just dematerialize and vanish. Some people even say that when they're driving across that bridge, if you drive across the bridge and you stop, it's possible that the pitcherman will stick his arm into your window, through your window, with a pitcher of beer, attempting to give you a drink. So he's kind of, like I said, he's the friendliest ghost I have ever heard. He's just trying to keep partying in the afterlife, and he's trying to help everybody else celebrate with him. But it is a bit creepy if you happen to see a hand come out of nowhere and a pitcher of beer through your window um, on a dark night, as you're stopped on a bridge in Maine. So that's our ghost story for the Pitcherman of Goose River. All right, so that's our first ghost story. Now, the headline story that I had is directly related to Friday the 13th. Victor, you're in my way here, Victor. There we go. All right, so now the Friday the 13th ghost story has to deal with Frederick Douglass. Now, I'm sure you've all heard of the name Frederick Douglass. And just in case you don't know who I'm talking about, I will show you a picture of him. There he is, Frederick Douglass. Probably the most famous black man of the 18th, the 19th century, of the Civil War, of that era. He was a former slave. He was born in 1818. In 1838, he escaped slavery to the north. He was from Maryland. He escaped to the north and became the nation's forefront abolitionist to abolish slavery. And he was an intimidating man. He was over 6 feet tall, and he had, he weighed over 230 pounds. So he was a big guy. And, this, you could see in this famous photo of him, he has quite an intimidating stare. And it was said that he, was one of the greatest orators the world had ever known. So this is a man that was self-taught, obviously coming from being a slave, but he was able to deliver such stirring speeches that they said that he was able to turn people that were in favor of slavery, or at least on the cusp of it, on the fence. He was able to change their opinion and bring them over to the abolitionist side. So he was kind of an amazing person of that time period. So so that's him. That's the guy we're going to talk about here. Let me see if I can no, I don't want to do that. I want to minimize him. There you go. All right. So so what's the ghost story about Frederick? Well, Frederick died in the year 1895. He was about 79 years old, I believe, something like that. Anyway, so it is said that every Friday the 13th, Frederick Douglass's Frederick Douglass's spirit will appear and haunt a racist throughout that night, much like a kind of like a Scrooge type of thing, kind of like a, Three Ghosts of Christmas Eve type of thing. So every Friday the 13th, a racist someplace when he goes to sleep, may be woken up in the middle of the night and find Frederick Douglass's ghost meeting with him. Now where does that story come from? Where does that encounter with Frederick Douglass's spirit come from? Well, it comes from the year 1897. That was the first time that it ever occurred. Let me get this out of here because it's kind of annoying. It's cutting off my face. So let me get the picture down for a second here. Um, so 1897, and I don't know if anybody knows the name Justice Henry Billings Brown. You probably don't, but he was a Supreme Court justice in the late 1800s, the mid to late from the Civil War on. He was an associate justice. He wasn't the head justice. He wasn't but he was on the justice, and he was famous for particularly one decision, and a pretty bad decision. It's a decision Plessy versus Ferguson. Now, this decision was based on all of the South's segregation after the Civil War, because this decision allowed segregation to exist. It was the famous separate but equal thing that was allowed, and through this decision, he was the author of that decision. So, and it's interesting that he was the author of such a decision. It's really strange too, because his background was that of an abolitionist's background. He came from Puritans in Massachusetts. Just a very strange thing. He wasn't a Southern guy, just bizarre. But anyway, so the origin of Frederick Douglass's ghost meeting people starts with him, because in the year 1897, he on a night on the 14th. It was Saturday the 14th. It was the night after Friday the 13th, that the justice calls to his house. He sends word, and he asks for. He lived in Baltimore at the time, and he asked for a Captain B.F. Alt, who was a police captain in Baltimore. He wanted to see him. He sent word to the precinct. He wanted this Captain Alt to visit him for dinner on the 14th. Well, word gets to Captain Alt, and now Captain Alt is honored that a Supreme Court justice wants to meet with him. So he attends it. He comes to his house at night, and he's expecting to have dinner. But when he gets there, he quickly realizes that it really is not a social call for any type of dinner. That was just a precursor to get him to the house. And when the justice gets Captain Alt in his chambers, in his den, on his own, he asks him if he was sure that Frederick Douglass had died. And the reason he asks him is because when Frederick Douglass had died 2 years ago, Captain Alt was one of the honor guard that watched over the funeral procession. It was a public viewing funeral, and Captain Alt was one of the people there that was there the entire time. So he, of all people, would know. So he grabs Captain Alt and in a fever and a furious type of emotional. Tell me, was he alive? Tell me, is he dead? Are you sure he's dead? Are you sure he's dead? And the captain is like taken aback by this. He says, "Of course, yes, he's dead." And "Are you sure he's dead? Are you sure?" And he says, "Yes. Why would you ask me this?" And the justice confides in him and says, "Because Frederick Douglass visited me last night in my bedroom, and I don't understand any of this." So that's where this all came from. He came to this justice's bedroom in the middle of the night at about 3:00 in the morning on Friday the 13th. So I guess it's actually the 14th, but the night of Friday the 13th, he meets and appears to this guy. Now, this happened several times over history. There's points of this happening several times over history, usually with famous people, and he usually appears at the person's bedside, and he will have glowing red eyes. And different people have said he's done different things. Sometimes people say he'll sit there and go into a huge speech where he about the evils of slavery and treating people equally under God's eyes. And if you're the receipt of this ghostly speech, you can't turn away. You're mesmerized by it, and you're forced to listen to it. and listen to the meaning and listen to the emotional side of the speech. That's one thing. Some people have said that he even one person actually said that he got beat up by him, that he got thrown around, that the spirit threw him around. So that was interesting. But the famous people that have encountered Frederick Douglass, and on Friday the 13th, the next person was Lyndon Johnson. President Lyndon Johnson was said to have encountered him on Friday the 13th in 1957. Now, if anybody knows anything about Lyndon Johnson, though he was, supposedly a liberal, was one of the most racist people on the planet and used to use racial slurs all the time. He was the biggest hypocrite around. So it makes sense to me why he would be visited by Frederick Douglass. And then there was also George Wallace. George Wallace, if you remember George Wallace ran for president in the 60s, I believe, or in the early 70s, whenever it was. And he was an advocate for segregation. That was his platform, to run for segregation, to make sure segregation survived. So his wife is the one that said that George Wallace was met Frederick Douglass one Friday the 13th evening, and had spent 3 days afterwards looking up words that he said Frederick Douglass spewed out to him that he didn't know the meaning of, that they were so high-end words that he had to figure it out. He had to go through a dictionary and figure out what the speech was about that he was made to listen to, so quite an interesting history there about how that went in. So those were the two people. Well, those are the three people, I guess. The three famous people, or important people, so to speak, that encountered Frederick Douglass. And it said that there were countless others. Who knows? I don't have those accounts. I couldn't find those accounts, but I did find, those particular people who were part of the process. I mean, who were visited by him. So an interest area is Frederick Douglass. You imagine this guy staring at you at your bedside in the middle of the night, only with his eyes glowing, kind of a most intimidating and most scary type of encounter anywhere. So there you go. So a little poetic justice, or, just desserts, so to speak. For those on Friday the 13th. So there you go for that. So those are my ghost stories. So I hope you enjoyed them. All right. Unless if I did I miss anybody? Oh, Carmela, how are you? Good to see you. Marta, good to see you. I didn't say hello to you either. Let me see. Anybody else did I miss? I want to make sure I hit everybody. I don't want to miss anyone. Everybody's talking to each other, which is awesome. Gianni, good to see you, my friend. Let's see what else is going on here. Who else is here? I'm sure I'm missing someone. I don't want to miss anyone. I'm sure I am, but I don't want to miss anyone. Toro, good to see you. DARPA, awesome. All right. All right, guys, thank you so much. All right, so if you hung around, now comes the time for paranormal videos, and I got some doozies for you. So I hope you're ready for this, and I hope you give me your opinion as to what is going on here. All right. So let's start with. Hold on, let me close out some of these windows because I got too many windows open. All right. All right, let's start with this one. Okay. Hold on. 31 people. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. By the way, in case you didn't see it, I hit 3,000 subs, all because of you guys. 3,000 subs. That's amazing. Thank you, all of you. Thank you. Yes, and please hit the like button. I really appreciate that. All right, let's see. Now, let's go on to our paranormal vehicles. All right, here we go. Presenting. Share screen. All right, let's do this one, the dog walking one first. Hold on. No, 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 no. Let's do this in the parking lot video. Okay. Ready? Here we go. All right. Now, this is a parking lot and part of an apartment building. You can see the car parked there. This is a security camera on the parking lot. Now, let's see. Let me play this. And you tell me what you think here. Watch the screen. Look at that. You see what's coming now? What is this? Why is this on here? I don't want that on here. Can I move this? There we go. Okay, we'll move that. Let's do it. We'll do it again. All right, see? Now you see this? Look at this. Coming right across here. Right across here. Through the frame. And out. I don't know what that could possibly be. I can't think of any reasonable explanation for that. I mean, it's definitely not a bug. A bug wouldn't be like that. I don't think a bug would soar like that. It's not a reflection. I mean, it's just gliding. And it doesn't have any physical shape, though. It doesn't look like it's shaped by anything. It's kind of like an oval or a square. And then it goes up over here at the end. So I don't know. Yankees, good to see you, my friend. So I don't know about that. I don't know what that is. I mean, if I saw that, I don't think I would say it's a goat. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. So nobody seems to know what this is, or no one has any idea what it is. But if you rule out certain things like, bugs and stuff like that, who knows? So Gerard says it's a ghost turd. Yeah, I don't know. Dog. I don't know. The dog, well, this is a flying one. I don't know about that, but a flying dog. But I don't know. I just thought it was worth showing. I don't know. I mean, I'm not really impressed. I'm not scared by it. I'm not impressed by it. But I just didn't a clear explanation did not come to mind. So I figured I'd share it. All right. That's number one. Let's go on to number two. This one's the dog walking one. Hold on. Let me get this. Okay. I call this one the dog walking video because the video was taken by someone out walking their dog in the park. So here we go. Let's see. All right. You ready for this? This is going to creep you out. I think it will because it creeped me out. Ready? Can I move this there? We'll move that down so you can see. All right. Ready? Here we go. Now, did you see that? Look at that. Look at that. What on earth is that? This is a guy just walking along with his dog, filming with his phone instead of filming with the phone light. That's all this is. And this happens. This runs across where he's walking on this path in the park. And it vanishes. William says it looks like Thien. I don't know. But I mean, that's an arm, and it's like somebody like running across. Bizarre, man. Bizarre. And it vanishes, right? It just completely vanishes there. It takes off and vanishes. Now the sound you hear, that's the dog walking in the leaves. But look at that. Here's the arm. There's a leg, right? The head is over here. It's like a guy running like down close to the ground across the road here. Bizarre. A Bigfoot ghost, Showtown says. Bobo says a dinosaur. Arm distance. Hello, my friend. Good to see you. Gianni says she has an idea about the vanishing things. Crazy, but they say things like Bigfoot could be in a parallel universe and things can come over. Maybe a ghost like this is as you see it from the. Oh, okay, man, it's possible, I guess. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that on the Bigfoot shows, Johnny, on the I don't know what it is called, Expedition Bigfoot or one of those things on the Discovery Channel or whatever that. I've heard that theory before. All right, so let's go on to the next here. Hold on here. Let's go on. Stop sharing that screen there. All right. All right, ready for this one? We're going to Puerto Rico for this one. All right. Where's my share screen here? Share screen. Here we go. This is a kind of, it's like a water park kind of, not like a, but it's like a natural water park. It's not like they built it for this reason. It was a aqueduct or like and they turned it into like a place where people could, go rafting. They raft on it as the water flows down. So here we go. Now watch this. Let me see something here. We don't need the sound. Here we go. All right, she's going through the tunnel here. All right. Now look to the bottom here. Look to the bottom here and see. Tell me what you see. Wait, it's gonna go. It'll come back again. Hold on. Look in the water. What is that in the water? Look at that. That looks like a girl's body in the water. I got chills the first time I saw that. I just got chills when I saw it. Play that again. Yeah, I mean, Johnny, it looks like a body, right? But it disappears. Watch. It doesn't like continue to go along. It just vanishes. It appears for a little bit. You watch it. You'll see the head and like the right here, right? But then watch how it disappears. Watch. It's gone. It's gone in like it disappears into like mud or like a mist or something. Hey, Adam. I'm going to have dreams now. This is creepy. Now, our friend Edwin from Puerto Rico, I hope he never went on this river because who knows what's going on in this river, on this river raft situation, because it's that would scare the hell out of me. If I saw that thing, I turn around, I'm on a tube and I see that in the water. Oh my God. A mermaid? I don't know. Latin butterfly. I mean, a mermaid in like an aqueduct like this? It's not like it's the ocean. There he goes. Here she comes. There she is. Look at her. Look at her. And then it kind of materializes. You see it like blur into like a mist or like a cloud. It disappears into like a cloud in the water. Watch. There it goes. There it comes. And it disappears right there, right? And it just like turns into like a cloud. Interesting. Very, very interesting stuff. A corpse? Yeah, but how could, if that was a corpse, Gianni, how come Gerard, it would be floating. It would either be floating, right? Or it would be at the bottom. It wouldn't be following her and then vanishing. It wouldn't disappear. So I don't know. All right, so that's our Puerto Rican adventure there for a second. All right, let's go. Let's get out of here. Okay. All right. Now let's go to my last one here, which to me is the worst, creepiest one. Hold on. I hear the screech owl outside my window, by the way. You guys can't hear it, but I hear it. All right. All right. Here we go again. Now this one is from Sweden or Norway or something, someplace like that. Sweden or Norway, one of the Nordic countries. This is where this one comes from. This is a 2-year-old boy. And it's 3:00 in the morning. If you see on here, 13:07, it's 3:00 in the morning. Now he should be in bed, but he's not. He's out on his floor in the dark, and he's in the dark too in his room. He's on the floor in the dark. Now watch what happens. All right, here we go. The light goes on. And watch what happens to him. Watch him closely. Look at that. Here we're going to show you it again now. Look at that. That's not a kid doing that himself. There's no way that's a kid doing it himself. And if they did that, if they staged this and yanked the kid like that, that's child abuse. And if they didn't, this is downright scary. This is downright scary. Light going on and off. Light goes out. Boom. Pushed over. And you can see him, he holds his head, like his head hit the ground, hit the floor. Yeah, arm distance, a mean ghost. I mean, what is that all about? Pushing the kid, yanking the kid like that. Look at that. He's only 2 years old. No, that's not a seizure, Adam. That's definitely not a seizure. And a seizure would not push him off the ground like that, would not push his butt off the ground like that. So to me, I think this one's real. I think I'm convinced that's real right there. That is definitely real. You know, I don't know what force pushed him, but some force definitely pushed him up like that. His butt comes off the ground and pushes his legs back. You know, once he's on his back, it pushes his legs farther back. Creepy stuff. Really, really creepy stuff. Look at that. All right. So there you have it. those are my paranormal videos for this week. So I hope you enjoyed them. And yeah, Tora, I didn't show you the full video. The full video, he's there talking to somebody. You're right. You just see that, but and there was a part before where the chair moves, and I just cut it down because I wanted it to be short. But he's talking to someone. He's like, bah, 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 and then the chair flies, flies to the side. Like you see it on its side. It wasn't like that at the beginning. Yeah, Tony, exactly. That's what it looks like to me too. So yeah, so that's my stuff. I hope you enjoyed them. Those are my videos. That was my story, my ghost story of poetic justice to those that deserve it. And our friendliest ghost, William, the pitcher man, William Fowler, the friendliest ghost you know. And his name isn't Casper, but he's the friendliest ghost you know. He wants to share a beer with you. And then we learned a little bit about Friday the 13th, the history about Friday the 13th. So hope you enjoyed that. Chris Trock, how are you? Where are you, Chris Trock? Are you coming now? Come on. You missed all the fun. You missed all the fun, Chris. Let's see here. And did I miss anybody? I want to make sure I did not miss anyone. That I said hello to everyone. I said hello to Zelda. I said hello to Marta. Yep. Arm distance. Yep. Anyone else? I think I got everybody here. I can't believe Thindu is up this late. Hopefully he won't be. I know Chris has been here. I'm sorry, Chris. I just saw your comment. You were here before that. I am sorry. I didn't mean that. I should look before I open my mouth. All right. So yeah, we had a lot of fun tonight. We had 35 people in the chat at one point. That's pretty awesome. That might be a record. I don't know. That might be a record. But thank each and every one of you for that. It's awesome. Thank you for hanging out. You're trying to correct my narrative of what? Gerard, what are you correcting? Let's see. Cheech is here. I miss Cheech. I didn't know that. Cheech is here. How are you, my friend? Yeah, there he is. Cheech, how are you, my friend? No problem. Catch the replay. It's good stuff. I think it's fun stuff. So, when you get a chance, check it out. I think you'll like it. What comments, Gerard? You said you what comment? What are you correcting? What are you talking about? It's 1:00 in the morning. Where? Where in the video? Is that what you meant? It's not 1:00 in the morning. No, it said 13 on the thing. It said 13 on the read at the top of the. Hold on. Now I got to go back. Hold on. Let's go back. All right, let's play it. Let's see what happened here. Now I got to know. 13:07. What do you mean 1:00? I didn't say 1:00. 13:07. 13:07. I guess that's 2:00, right? That's 2:00 in the morning. 13, right? 12, 1, 2. Oh no, it's 1:00. I see what you're saying. It's 1:00 because of 13. Okay. 12 going into 13. Ah, okay. All right. I see what you're saying. All right. 1:00. See, look, by the way, there's the chair that just moved. Remember I said the chair moved? You saw the chair moving right there at the beginning, which I should have had I should have played the whole video, but I didn't save the whole video. Well, how do you know it's in the afternoon? It says 1 o'clock. It doesn't say PM or AM on the thing. Depends on when they set the clock on the camera that it starts playing. I don't know. So 13:07. I don't know when they started the camera. I have no clue. Um, it happened on 6/10/2022. So this little dude is 4 years old now. So anyway, um, all right. So there we go. All righty. Let's say stop that. We don't need to watch that a million times. We did it a million times already. Anyway. Okay. So there you have it. Yeah, Johnny, I know what I don't know what. Yeah, you said something was moving. I don't know. I didn't catch that, but I'll take your word for it. You said something was moving on the upper right-hand corner. Something was moving in the top right screen. I didn't. Let me. All right. You know what? Now I got to go back again. All right. Let me go back again. I can't. I can't leave it alone. All right. Hold on. We got to find it. We got to solve this. You know, maybe that's if something was moving in the top right corner. All right. Let's play it. Maybe it's a scam then. Hold on. Let's go see what that is. Top right corner. I'm looking. I'm looking. Oh, that I think is a reflection, Johnny. Right over here, where nukes said, where it says nukes, right there. I think that's what you're talking about. That was a reflection of the light when it went on. The light went out. The light went on. It went off. I think that was a reflection of something over here. There must be like something that's a mirror or something that's reflective over here. That's what I think that was. On the ground. Okay, when he's on the ground. All right. Now something's moving. Huh. All right, hold on. I'll go back. I will go back again. Hold on. Let me see something here. When he's on his back, let's put him on his back. Hold on. He's on his back there, right? All right. After he's pushed and he's on his belly. Oh, and he's on his belly. Oh, all right. So we got to go all the way back. All right. All right, right there. Okay, let's see. He's on his belly. Oh, he's pushed. And it goes on his belly. All right. Now let's play it and see where we see if we can see it. Huh. Yeah, you know what that is? That the blanket there is that's the bed. Like it's like a car bed. Like you ever see those car shape? Here it is, blue. See, it's blue here, right? It's blue when it starts, but you're right. Then the blanket appears. Watch. He's like this when the light is on. You don't see the blanket, right? This is the car wheel of the bed. You don't see the blanket there, right? When the light is on. But it's over there now. Look at it. Or maybe that's just a wider angle. Maybe that's the difference there. Yeah, I think that's just a closer that picture was just a closer angle. I see him on his belly. Oh, I see what you're talking about, Gianni. I see it. It's over here. I saw it that time. I did see it that time. Something over here on the right. I saw that. Well, like I said, if they somehow did this, that's child abuse, if you ask me. Yeah, this is a close. Yeah, that's a zoomed in. That's why you don't see the blanket here. This is a zoomed in picture. Yeah, so I'm just this. Yeah, I said that. We said that before. Yeah, he looks like he's talking to someone, right? And if you watch the entire video, it's on this Nuke's site. You can go if you want. It's on the Nuke site. He there's a good amount of time where he's talking to someone. You know, he's just talking to nobody, so to speak. So, yeah, it's it's either staged, like I said, which is child abuse, in my opinion, or it's creepy beyond belief. And I'm glad it didn't happen to my kid like that. But anyway, Janako Plumbing, how are you? Janako Plumbing, good to see you. So anyway, I'm well beyond my time. It's like I've been on for an hour and 6 minutes. That's way too long for me. But hey, we were doing an analysis, right? We were analyzing stuff. We were discussing and analyzing stuff. So yeah, Zelda, I thought the same thing because you see the kid grab his head at the bat at the end. So that's why I say if they stage this, that's child abuse because that kid hit his head on the ground. So, Gianni, you say it's an imaginary friend. How do you know? How do you know it was an imaginary friend? How do you know it wasn't a spirit? You don't, right? Anyway, thank you, Toro. Appreciate it. All right, guys, listen. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it always. Enjoy spending my Friday night with you guys. Hope I can, entertain you and give you a little bit to think about in the process. And on behalf of Victor and Lenny and the little Lenny, we need a name for little Lenny. That theme you sent me. Boy, is he little. He can't be baby Lenny because Lenny's here. We can't have baby Lenny and Lenny at the same time. We need a name for the little guy. So we'll think about it. We'll get him a name. But well, thank you, Zelda. So thanks everyone. Have a great Friday the 13th. I don't know if Slim wasn't in it. I usually plug Slim going on now. I don't know if he's on. He wasn't in the chat tonight, so I have no idea if he's on. But I'll be looking for him if he's on and check in there, say hi to him. But other than that, thank you always for stopping in. Hope to see you next time. And we'll do our blowing out of the candles as we always do. And I say thank you for building the Guild. Have a great night. God bless. Love you all.